Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're tackling something that sounds kind of sci-fi but is actually transforming healthcare right as we speak. Computational modeling and the dawn of your medical digital twin. If modern medicine has ever felt like a massive guessing game to you, well, this is how we change the rules. Okay, let's dive into this. What if your doctor could test 1,000 different treatments on you without you swallowing a single pill, right? This gets to the absolute core of a massive flaw in how we've handled healthcare for centuries. For the longest time, treating complex diseases has relied so heavily on trial and error. You get sick, the doctor prescribes the standard med, and then you both just kind of wait to see if it works. If it doesn't, or if the side effects are completely unbearable, you try something else. Your physical body is essentially the test lab. But what if we could shift that burden? What if a virtual version of you could take the hit, letting your doctor rapidly test 1,000 different therapeutic combos to find the exact one that cures you safely? Section 1. Beyond trial and error. We are finally starting to move past that slow, physical guessing game. We're doing this by borrowing a page right out of engineering and computer science. We've been using computers to simulate massively complex systems like city grids, traffic flow, telecommunications for years now. I mean, whether it's forecasting the weather by mapping atmospheric variables or putting flight simulators through the ringers to test turbulence, simulation is how we manage complexity. Well, biomedical researchers had this light bulb moment. The human body, that is the ultimate complex system. So we're taking that exact same simulation tech and applying it straight to our biology. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. What is computational modeling? So at its core, computational modeling is using computers to simulate and study complex systems using math, physics, and computer science to predict outcomes. Basically, it lets scientists run a system through endless virtual scenarios. In biomedical research, this is an absolute game changer. It means researchers can conduct thousands of simulated virtual experiments in a fraction of the time it takes to run physical ones. They use the computer to pinpoint the tiny handful of experiments that'll actually work, saving a staggering amount of time and resources in the real-world lab. Scientists usually build these models using two broad approaches. First, you have mechanistic models. These are built on established scientific principles. Think of it like following a super precise blueprint, where you know exactly how all the gears turn and the biochemical processes work. On the flip side, you have data-driven models. These are more like observing traffic patterns from a helicopter. You don't necessarily need the blueprint of the engine because you're ingesting vast data sets and using AI to spot hidden patterns. Today, researchers are actually mashing these together into hybrid models. This lets them study biological systems across multiple scales all at once, from the molecular level all the way up to tissues, organs, and entire organisms. Section 3. Meet your digital twin. So how does this incredible capability get applied to you, the individual patient? Now, what's really interesting about this concept from the National Academies of Sciences is the phrase bidirectional information exchange. A digital twin is a virtual representation of a system paired with a physical counterpart, and it's continuously updated. This isn't just a static 3D picture of your heart or lungs, it's a dynamic, evolving medical avatar. As your physical body changes, your digital twin updates in real time to mirror you perfectly, giving your doctors optimal decision support. Imagine a patient fighting cancer. First, their doctor gathers real-world clinical data, lab tests, tissue specimens, medical images like CT scans or MRIs. That builds the initial digital twin. As the disease evolves, say the real tumor shrinks or grows, new data continuously updates the virtual model. Then comes the really critical step. The digital twin is used to simulate a variety of different therapeutic regimens. The doctor can essentially hit the virtual tumor with different drug combos, predicting the clinical outcomes without the patient ever feeling a single side effect. Finally, they adjust the real-world treatment plan based on those highly precise predictions. The avatar takes the hits to find the cure. And this brilliantly illustrates how researchers funded by NIBIB are already turning this into reality. They are modeling the exact fluid dynamics of all 4 human cardiac valves in 3D, which is absolutely crucial for understanding heart failure without risking human patients. They've mapped out a primary motor cortex with 10,000 neurons and 30 million synapses, or using software called OpenSim to develop personalized musculoskeletal models for post-stroke individuals, figuring out exactly how to adapt to specific patients' neural control to help them walk again. We are mapping virtual biology today, and it is wild. Section 4. Smarter, safer drug discovery. Beyond just individual treatments, this tech is causing a massive shift in how the pharmaceutical industry actually discovers new medications. I really want this number to sink in. 90%. Right now, nearly 90% of drug candidates fail during clinical development. 90%. That is a staggering failure rate. It represents an incredibly inefficient system where billions of dollars and decades of research just hit a brick wall, simply because we couldn't accurately predict how a chemical would interact with the sheer complexity of a living human body until we actually put it inside one. So we're finally transitioning away from that grueling, expensive, physical world medicine of the past. The traditional model takes 10 to 15 years, costs an estimated $2.5 billion per approved drug, and relies so heavily on animal testing before even moving to human trials. Computational drug discovery completely flips the script. It utilizes AI to predict side effects early. Deep learning architectures can rapidly design novel molecules that perfectly fit a biological target, and remarkably, by simulating things like toxicity and how the body absorbs a drug in a virtual environment, we can drastically reduce our reliance on live animal models. This is a massive ethical and practical leap forward for science.
So the crucial point is that computational models test treatment feasibility virtually before moving to animal models. For example, researchers were investigating a really complex dual-switch genetic treatment for drug-resistant cancer, basically a targeted two-step trap to make cells vulnerable and then destroy them. Instead of immediately testing this complex strategy in living creatures, researchers built a computational model to prove the concept and fine-tune the strategy virtually first. This software-first approach is exactly how we accelerate discovery while actively and significantly reducing the need for live animal testing.
Section 5. The future of medicine. Let's step back for a second and look at how this fundamentally shifts our relationship with healthcare. There's this fantastic quote from sociologists Gross and Krohn that states, "Experimenting under conditions of uncertainties will be one of the most distinctive characteristics of decision-making in future societies." They are talking about the sheer power of computer simulation. By turning different scenarios into risk-free virtual experiments, we completely transform how doctors, scientists, and policymakers navigate uncertainty. We don't have to guess anymore. We can just run the simulation. As digital twins move us from a guessing game to precise prediction, how will a fully mapped virtual version of you change the way you live? We are standing on the edge of an incredible medical frontier. When the day comes that your doctor has a fully mapped, continuously updated version of you sitting safely on a hard drive, how will that change the way you experience healthcare? Thank you for exploring this with me today. Catch you next time.